Okay, so yeah, talking about today's crowded eCom landscape, it's not just about standing out now, it's about clarity, creativity, and resilience. So we're going to talk around all things from bootstrap beginnings to breakthrough growth. And you guys have all built some amazing businesses. So would you mind doing a bit of an intro down the line, who you are, where you work, and what you do?
Hi, I'm Julia Cove-Smith, and I previously worked in bigger retail businesses like Waterstones and Emma Bridgewater, which I scaled quite significantly. But recently I set up my own women's football brand called 11 as One, making football kit designed specifically for women in a growing market with a big gap.
Hi everyone, I'm Cicely. I am the founder of Selkie. We are a natural, sustainable hair care brand, and we sell the UK's only powder to liquid shampoo and conditioner.
Hello, my name is Judy Koloko, and I am the CEO and founder of The Steam Bar. The Steam Bar is a premium hair care brand for people with coily, textured, and afro hair meets a private members club. An elevated hair experience like no other, where digital culture meets culture.
Thank you. And we're going to start with you, Cicely. So Selkie has created an entirely new category in hair care. What's the first step in building something unique from scratch?
I think the key thing is having that idea, and an idea that you wholeheartedly believe in yourself. I remember when I had the idea for Selkie, I couldn't sleep. It was literally all I thought about for weeks on end. And then I guess for me, because there wasn't really that blueprint that I could look to, it was about researching adjacent markets, seeing what the industry was doing, seeing if it would even be possible. And yeah, just kind of throwing myself into a laptop and researching for months, basically.
How long was it until you launched from the idea?
So I had the idea in 2021 and we launched at the start of 2024 last year. So it took a long time to create, yeah.
Exciting. And Judy, the Steam Bar is pioneering in beauty. Like, how have you educated your customers on a new concept whilst also driving demand for it?
Storytelling has played a huge part in basically, what's the word I would say? It's a new category in hair we've created, so it's really important to talk to the consumer in a language that they understand. So our approach is skinification meets the art of steaming. So you've got two concepts running in alignment. So for us, it's really important to have experts on board. So we have trichologists, we have steam queens, and they're all about educating the community. We also are very much, trailblazers in this space. So when it comes to working with KOLs and influencers, it's really important that they understand the concept and the mission as well. So there's a whole lot of things that come into play, but for us, it's really... Okay. So for us, the storytelling is key, but it's making sure that you've got the right people coming on the journey that really understand the ethos and the values of the business.
And Julia, you've scaled big businesses before. Like, what's been the most important lesson that you've taken from where you've worked in the past into this new venture?
I think the first thing to say is starting something fresh is totally different from scaling, and I kind of thought I understood more than I did about how to start a business because I'd scaled businesses previously. I think the most important thing for me was learning a bit like Judy was saying about the storytelling and the brand. So when you've got a brand new business, you have to be able to tell a good story about it to bring people along with you to start from somewhere. And I'd seen that at Emma Bridgewater and Waterstones. So having a brand that people really connect with, and also an identity that's strong to start with, to give people confidence to come along with you as you start up.
And did you have something a bit similar, Cicely, when you've kind of been building Selkie? I imagine there was a lot of like trial and error over those few years. What's one of the big lessons that you learned that's shaped the way that you're running the brand?
A lot of trial and error, and I guess realising that what works for one brand doesn't mean that it's going to work for you, which might sound super might sound really intuitive, but every brand is different, so different things are going to work. But to your point, both of your points about storytelling, I remember at the beginning I got all my gorgeous friends and family to be my models, and I was behind the camera, not in front of the camera. And the real turning point for my brand was me getting in front of the camera and really talking about the story and creating it and developing it, which people really buy into. So that was kind of the biggest things that I was so glad that I tested.
And Judy, what role has the storytelling played when you've been like innovating to those new customers?
I think authenticity has been huge. So for me, the whole brand came about from me having traction alopecia. So abuse of wigs, weaves, relaxers. In the black hair community, there is a lot of trauma to the scalp. And this is from us trying to obtain that unobtainable beauty ideal. So for me, it's about, a story that came from a place of me realizing that there had to be a change when it comes to my hair, that I have to start caring and loving my crown. So that was the start of the journey. And through that, I think you came to a place when you actually launched, people resonated with you because there were so many people out there with the exact same problem. So for me, I think being very authentic and true to yourself continuously on your journey, because there's people out there that you'll be so surprised that, are looking for a solution. And the solution can be something really simple, because it's not like we're reinventing the wheel. We're simply creating a formula that is going to help hair growth and help restore the scalp. So I would say authenticity is 100%, because I think people always as well want to go with people that they can trust. And they know that, you're being transparent, you're being honest with your reason behind what you're doing. So I always say, for me, authenticity is at the top of the list.
And Julia, from your B Corp experience, how can those value-based certifications contribute to brand building?
So when we went through the B Corp accreditation at Emma Bridgewater, we did it thinking it was for the customers really, that they would care more. But actually what we learned going through it was that it was the staff and partners that we were working with for whom it mattered more than the customers. And that was really important for then building the brand, because you've got, recruitment's easier because people want to work for businesses like that, and working with other partners who are also B Corp businesses was fantastic. So I was quite surprised that whilst customers say they want businesses that have good values, and I do think that's really important, if you sell a product that a customer loves, they'll buy it, sometimes regardless. So actually the importance was more about having the people working for us and working with good partners too.
I've seen quite a lot of for and against B Corp certification on LinkedIn recently.
Yeah, I think I can imagine that. And I think B Corp is now re-looking at their accreditation process to deal with that. For us at Emma Bridgewater, it was fantastic. It changed our relationship with our staff hugely, and for the positive. And I would definitely want my new business to be a B Corp, but really because of how it would help us do business, not just as a stamp to put on it for the customers.
And Cecily, looking back, what's one lesson that you'd give to new founders that are kind of building resilience through trial and error?
This has been a real big one for me, and I think that if you are naturally a people pleaser, as I am, you struggle sometimes when you're not always getting the best feedback, but I think that it is kind of like a muscle that you need to train. When I first launched Selkie, I was going out to markets in the rain, in the snow, trying to speak to people about sustainable hair care who really did not care. But that just gets you practicing and realizing that you're not going to please everyone all the time, but the more that you believe in it and keep going with it, then you'll find your right people. So yeah, just got to keep going sometimes.
Don't let the rain stop you.
Yeah.
And Judy, you've launched in Selfridges, which is obviously a huge milestone. What advice would you give to founders that are trying to break into retail whilst they're still building their DTC business?
I mean, I was very lucky because my background is fashion. So, and my co-founder now was actually my old CEO when I was in fashion. And we obviously had a contact at Selfridges, so emailed the guy, and then he connected us with the beauty department. And I literally went in with a laptop and pitched to Selfridges, and I didn't even have a product. They didn't even see a product until the week before it went into store. So people say, I don't know how you pulled it off, but it was definitely a coup. But anyway, the long and short of it is that it's just you've got to really believe in yourself. So when you go in and see a retailer, like I said, I didn't even have a product, but I knew what we are going to create is going to be phenomenal, and you need to come on this journey. They said, don't go and see Harrods. So we launched exclusively with them. They then offered us a pop-up. So we had a 3-month pop-up in Selfridges, the first Afro-textured hair space to have ever existed in a renowned department store. So we've already created a legacy from day dot. So for me, retailers, I mean, we've had retailers, I won't say the name of a retailer, who's actually said, we don't know how to speak to your community, so we don't think we would do any service by you coming into our store. So I think you've got to be very strategic when you launch, knowing who you want your partner to be. What value are they going to bring to the business? We brought value to Selfridges because we brought a footfall that wasn't necessarily going into the store. So I think you've always got to know your worth, as in what value you're bringing, and also where your community's shopping as well. So there's a mix of strategies, I would say, but I think you just got to, when you go in and meet with retailers, really tell a good story, really let them understand what value your brand is bringing to them as well. And also at the same time, is this the kind of partner you want to be working with? Because that's very key, because there's so many retailers out there and they all work very differently when it comes to margins, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to their expectations. So I think you should really study and really know the partner that you're intending to get into bed with, because it's like a marriage after you're in with them.
And Julia, how are you balancing customer acquisition alongside retention, especially in these early days of growth and starting a new business?
I've been thinking about this a lot. I think Morgan touched on it earlier. Obviously both are really important, but I've basically made the decision that I have to see customers coming back. Otherwise, I'm not building something sustainable. And then you're just, throwing money after recruiting customers, and you don't know if your business is going to keep going. So both are vitally important, but I think retention, and I'm putting a lot of effort into talking to customers very personally. A bit to Cicely's point, I've been quite surprised how much you have to put yourself at the front of the business. Even with a strong brand, actually people want the founder. So I'm going for a very personal approach because I need retention. And then once you understand how you can get strong retention, you can, recruiting customers, it's not easy, but you can work out what money to put into it and what return you're going to get.
And what about you, Cecily? What's been the biggest platform or driver for your launch and your growth?
Well, I think at the beginning I was just testing everything, and if you had asked me before launch, I would have probably said I would assume TikTok might be better for us, but that absolutely wasn't the case, and I've found that our customers are far more on Meta, so just doubling down on that at the moment, to be honest, as our kind of acquisition tool, and then it's just about that retention.
Have you had any key channels, Judy, that have stood out for you guys?
No, I think at the moment we're quite a new brand, so it's very much trial and error. So we're kind of just navigating, and 1 week it could be TikTok, and then the next week it's Instagram, or it could be something being pushed through from an activation that we're doing in Selfridges. So at the moment we're very much in our infancy. So just working out, what's resonating with our consumer.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey so far. I'm excited to see where all three brands go.
Thank you.